Hello, you're watching The Perspective, a program that brings to you a variety of information from a wide spectrum of concepts and ideas.
Hello, my name is Vincent, and this is The Perspective, a program that brings to you a variety of information from a wide spectrum of concepts and ideas. Like we said earlier in the year, we are going to be having a tremendous journey throughout the course of 2024 that will bring about the dissemination of information that is critical for the development of our continent and for impact and growth. My passion for Africa cannot be overemphasized. I cannot in one video talk about how much I love the continent and the potential that the continent possesses in order to bring about the betterment of the life of our people. If only the right tools, if only the right policies, and if only the right decisions are being made in the echelons of power. But let's not just look at the echelons of power. Let us also look at individual contribution that is necessary and important for the development of our continent. This perspective channel is completely dedicated to the development of Africa. And when I mean development, I talk about it in the social economic sense. Talk about it in the social sense, the life of our people, our culture, our business, our healthcare, our environment, our infrastructure, our education system. So this is what the perspective is all about, bringing information to the people that need it, that has to do with the development of our continent. So for this episode today, we are going to be looking at the roles of the youth in the development of our continent, the roles of youth in the development of the continent of Africa. Statistically speaking, Africa is strategically positioned to be the highest contributor of youthful energy and workforce to the whole global economy in the next 10 to 20 or 30 years. It has been projected that the youth of Africa are going to contribute 47% of the global youthful population of those between the age of 18 to 35. Now, what does that mean? It means that we have a thriving workforce. It means we have energy. It means we have creativity. It means we have youthful minds that can be engaged and that can be used to bring about, number one, productivity, that can be used to bring about economic stability and also economic growth. So today I'm going to be looking at the African youth as being very enterprising, and we are looking at various examples of companies that have been created from the shores of Africa. From Kenya, we have the M-Pesa that has been a very great success. The payment platform that was created is in Kenya, which is in East Africa. And then in Nigeria, we have great also development businesses and entrepreneurs of great repute that have brought that have started different ventures and businesses that are impacting the life of the continent and also bringing about development and connectivity in the place of e-payment and fintech. Nigeria, so the whole of Africa has brought a lot of examples. So we will get down to the southern part of Africa. We know that South Africa also has produced a lot of youthful champions in the place of business and development. So everywhere you go in Africa, what you have is a boiling pot of ideas and a boiling pot of energy and zest and enthusiasm and optimism that can only be found in a place as unique as our continent. So today I'm going to salute the creativity of the African youth, tell you that wherever you find yourself, you are very, very blessed and you are very, very gifted. I just immigrated to another part of the world right now, and I can see the energy and the persistence that the African youth are bringing into development of other places that they found themselves. So if this same energy can also be channeled to the development of our continent, I think we're going to be bringing about a lot of growth and development, but not to just flog that matter too much. And I also want to talk about the creative ideas of the African youth. In sports, our people are doing very well. Example in boxing, in the MMA, we have Anthony Joshua, we have Francis Ngannou, we have Israel Adesanya. We have a lot of people representing Africa in sports and also in music and entertainment. So what that tells you is that these examples are just highlights of what the continent can offer. And then when you talk about football as well, we have great people. We have Mo Salah from Egypt. We have also his name was Osimhen, that is also doing very good. So now what this tells you is that Africa is a pool of resources, and the greatest asset that we have in Africa, don't be deceived, is not the gold mines of South Africa. It is not the oil wells of Angola or Nigeria. It is not the sun that shines in Egypt or in Morocco. It is the people that are the wealth of Africa. And this program is targeted at the development of human capacities and the upskilling of skills and development in order to be able to bring positive change and development. Now, if you go into Africa, you see that statistically it has been shown that every year, especially in Uganda, if you go to East Africa, you go to Uganda, they say that there are over 200,000 entrepreneurs that are being developed, that are starting a new business in Uganda every year. So every year we have dreams of people who have dreams to start a business, and it is said that Uganda is one of the most enterprising countries in the whole of Africa, that every year over 200,000 new businesses are registered in Uganda. So what does that tell you? It tells me that we have in Uganda people who have dreams and people who have aspirations to bring about economic change and economic development. But the problem is that these businesses start, and then before you know what, most of them don't go past the first 3 years or first 2 years of operations, and they die off. The problem has been discovered to be that there is a knowledge problem, there is a capacity development problem, and also there is a problem of access to funding and access to investment and development finances. Now, this is where we come in the perspective. This is where we come in this program. This program will open your eyes to places where you will find resources, where you will find investment opportunities, because the problem I have discovered is there is a pool of resources in Africa from international investors, from international grant organizations that are targeted at the incubation of enterprises and investment into some specific areas of development. But there is a knowledge gap of people who need these funds and the access to the information that these funds actually exist. So I'm dedicating the next 4 episodes of The Perspective to bring information about how to access funds and how to access development investment for entrepreneurs, and also how to access what do you call it now, capacity building, such as how to do business, how to do bookkeeping, how to set up your operations, what you need to do for your business to be able to thrive and move forward. These are things that we are going to be talking about in the next 4 months. So to start off with, I want to give you just a list of 3 very important organizations that are available in all of the that have branches and that have reach in all over the region, that are giving out funds to businesses that are interested in that are giving out funds to businesses that are just starting up and that are showing potential for growth. The first, and the one that I love the most, is the African Development Bank. The African Development Bank has a very large portfolio of funds that are running in the hundreds of millions of dollars that are earmarked towards the catalyzing and helping and supporting small and medium scale businesses, especially those that are being done by the youth. So it's if you are not researching, if you are in need of funds and you are not looking at opening an account or going to make an inquiry from Africa Development Bank, then you are doing yourself a very big disfavor. If you are a youth, whether you are in Nigeria or you find yourself in Senegal or you find yourself in Somalia, and you want to have access to funds, research the African Development Bank. As a matter of fact, as the program goes on, there is one that is going on right now that we are going to talk about, but that is just specially for Africa, for the youth in Nigeria, because it was done in collaboration with the former Vice President of Nigeria, His Excellency Professor Yemi Oshibajo, and we are going to talk about it as the program goes forward. So, and then the next one is the Afrexim Bank. The Afrexim Bank stands for the African Import and Export Bank. I think they are headquartered in Egypt, and they also have a lot of branches all over Africa. Now, if you are a young person and you have an idea, you have a movie you want to shoot, you have a business idea, you are into agriculture, and you know that this idea is very viable, you should also look at the Afrexim Bank, which is Africa Import and Export Bank. They are also having a large portfolio of funds running into the hundreds of millions of dollars that are earmarked into the support of small and medium scale businesses. Now, gone are those days where you just sit down and say, I have this idea, this is what I want to do, I want to shoot this movie, I have a very nice script, I have a small business that I'm an artist, I paint video, I paint pictures, and I want to upscale my I want to open a museum for myself where I can be able to be showcasing my artwork, or I am into agriculture, I'm into fishery, I'm into pig farming, I'm into whatever form of farming you are into. As a youth, you have access to support, you have access to these funds that we are talking about. And also, almost every other country I know have a bank of industry. Now, this bank of industry are some sort of like also a development finance financial institution that also support industry. So if you are into manufacturing, you're making soap, you're a small and medium scale business, you are into the manufacturing of soap, you're into fast moving consumer goods, and you have a little cottage factory where you make your stuff, but you want to upgrade yourself, first you can access funds from the Bank of Industry in your respective country. So don't just sit down there and just wallow in despair and say, I want to start this business, but there's no one to support me, I don't know where to go, I don't know where to start. Start by looking at the African Development Bank. Go to their website and check out where they have support for the youth. Whatever it is, the proposal that they are saying you should put in place, put the proposal in place, send it in, pursue it, make phone calls, go there, visit their branch, meet people, connect, network, and then follow up until your funds are being disbursed. And then when these funds are being disbursed, use it for what it is being disbursed for, because the level of your accountability and how you are able to use funds also is what builds up into your credit worthiness. So you are a youth in Africa, you want to be part of the development of your continent, you want to be part of You want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. But you are stranded because you are shortchanged because you don't have access to funds. Look at the African Development Bank. Now, also go to the website of the Afrexim Bank, which I've also stated earlier, and also check out their website and see if you have a need to do a proposal. You have a viable business, or especially in agriculture, because that's the next thing I want to talk about now. If you know you have a viable business in agriculture, you have a small, medium scale business, and you want us to, in the perspective here, to partner with you to help you develop business structure, to help you put in place a very strong operational base that you will use to sell yourself in order to be able to stand a better chance of getting your loans or getting your loans approved, you can send me an email. I'm going to put my email at the link at the description of this video. Send me an email, and I'm going to get back to you, and we'll looking at your business, what your business looks like, and also tell you what these development financial partners are looking at for them to be able to disburse funds. I've also been a banker for the past 13 years. I've worked in one of the most prestigious banks in Nigeria, and I can tell you that I have some experience on what the financial institutions are looking at in order to be able to disburse funds. So I'm not just saying this without a wealth of experience. So just get in touch with me via the email that is linked in the description of this video, and we'll take it forward. So my advice to African youth now, is, if you are a youth in Africa and you want to be part of the development of Africa, you don't just want to sit down and be part of and just complain about politicians and just go on social media and just every day just keep on being part of complaining and saying our leaders are bad. You want to leave that lane, and you want to come into the lane of the people that are making things happen. My advice is you look at agriculture. Yes, you heard me right, agriculture. Now, agriculture is so important, and it is so key for the continent of Africa. Why? Because Africa is a net importer of food. Africa cannot feed itself. And the crisis and the severity of the situation that Africa was in showed itself during the COVID-19 lockdown, because we are depending on international partners for our feeding. We are depending on Ukraine to give us grains. We are depending on Russia. We are depending on different countries to give to buy food, which is the reason why there is a spiking rate of inflation. You have 200 Kenyan shillings today, and tomorrow you go to the market, you cannot be able to buy the same thing you were able to buy last week with your 200 Kenyan shillings. Now, why is that? Why is this happen? It's because our leaders continue to draw on our foreign exchange, on our foreign reserve, in order to be able to buy food just for us to be able to feed our continent. Now, this is a very, very dire situation that Africa finds itself, but it is an opportunity for people to come up to the challenge. It's an opportunity for people, like they always say, everywhere you see a challenge, it is not just a challenge, it's an opportunity for people to come up to this challenge and bring about positive change and positive development. Now, look at the area of famine. Any continent or any country that cannot feed itself is in big trouble. During the COVID-19 lockdown, where everybody started keeping their food to themselves because nobody knew how long the pandemic was going to last, everybody started saying, I'm not selling, sorry, I'm keeping my rice to myself. Thailand wasn't selling, China wasn't selling, and now with the war in Ukraine, the price of commodity continues to spike. How do we get a solution to this problem? It's for us to go back to the farm. Is for Africa to go back to the farm. Before colonization, before Africa was colonized, Africa was an agrarian region. We were into agriculture. We have lush, beautiful land. When you come to Nigeria, you have cocoa farms. When you go to Gabon, you have large cocoa farm. When you go to Ivory Coast, when you go to Cote d'Ivoire, when you come to Ghana, you see large cocoa farms. Now, these are success stories that we can capitalize on. And it mustn't just be direct farming. You can look at the farming supply chain itself. The value chain of agriculture has a lot to deliver, especially in Africa. I heard a success story of people. I think it was in Gabon. It was by one of the people that I look up to a lot. His name is Gagan Gupta. I think he's from China. He's from India. He's the president and CEO of Arise LLC. He spoke about how he came to Gabon and set up. I think he said it was a refining factory that he set up. Now, what do this refining factory do? The farmers in Gabon normally just export their cottons and they all export their cashew nuts to the international to the people that buy these things from them in the international market. Now, if you are selling your cotton or your cashew nut as raw material, the value is a lot lesser than when it is a little bit processed. So if you are looking at, I can't go to farm, I can't go into farming, I cannot go in, I can't farm. If that is not where your interest is, look at adding value to produce and to product that can increase the value before it is being exported. If you are not looking at international markets, the volume of Africa doing business with the international market is even very low. Africa does business with international market in the area of export very, very low. The percentage is very low. We are more of an import continent than we are of an export continent. So that tells you there is wide opportunity for people to benefit. Look at agricultural value chain. Start farming pigs, start farming start a poultry, start a fishery, catfish, process, vegetables. Vegetables are also very important. Fruits, oranges, mangoes, very, very important. And like I said, there are lots of development funding and investment in African development and in Afreximbank and in the Bank of Industry that are earmarked especially, and even also in the commercial banks. Commercial banks have a very large portfolio of investment funds for that for the agricultural sector. So please look at that. So lastly today, I want to talk about iDice. iDice is a program or a fund that have been earmarked by the African Development Bank in collaboration with the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and to give a loan of $618 million. Yes, there is $618 million sitting in African Development Bank that is targeted towards investment in digital and creative enterprises. Now, what is digital and creative enterprises? We are talking about if you have a business that has to do with technology. If you have a business that had to do with either maybe you are developing a software, you are a software developer and you are in Nigeria and you need funds to start business, iDice is for you. If you have a small scale business that has to do with developing solutions or starting, or so you are a software developer and not just a developer, you're also an entrepreneur, you are looking at let's say for instance developing software that will help farmers in order to be able to track their harvest or track whatever, or to do some sort of, and you are developing your digital business, you have funds of over 618 million resting in Africa Development Bank that is waiting for you to draw from. Now, is that not good news? Also, people who are into the creative industry. So iDice stands for Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises, iDice. So the digital, we're not talking about creative industry. Are you a fashion designer? You have a small and medium scale business that is into making of clothes, designing of clothes, or designing of shoes. If you are in the creative industry, you are a musician, you are an actor, I can tell you that most of those movies that you are seeing on Nigerian movies that are seeing that on Netflix, are being funded by African Development Bank. The production from the beginning to the end are being funded by African Development Bank, because you are sure, and also the Bank of Industry. I know that the Bank of Industry was a very big supportive partner for the production and the marketing of one of the movies that was very big in Nigeria of late. I think it was Jago Jago, if I'm not mistaken. Africa in Bank of Industry was very large investor in the production of that movie. So are you into the creative industry? Look at that as well. Very, very important. So like I said, this iDice has $618 million that have been earmarked to be deployed for 200 enterprises that are into the digital space, and also for the creative space. And also, if you are not yet strong enough, if you're not, because this it doesn't just start in a day. You know, for the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. So you are still small, you are still struggling. Okay, how can we support people who we might not necessarily give funds to because they are not yet strong enough, and we are not sure that our money is going, because development finance is also a form of business. They invest into your farm, or they invest into your movie, and when the movie goes to the market, they get back their funds, and they get back their capital, and also get back their interest. It is about business. So you have to have that mindset. They're not giving you a grant. Do we have grants as well? We have grants in Africa Development Bank. We have grants in Afrexim Bank. But I'm talking about loans that are going to be given to you to do business with, and then that will make profit, and then you will return the interest back to the loaning party. Now, also, if you are not yet strong enough to be able to have access to funds, they also have ecosystem and capacity development programs. So what you need to do is, I'm just starting my fishery, I'm just starting my farm, I'm just starting into the movie industry, I'm just starting into the tech industry. I have not even developed even one app yet, or I've just developed 2 or 3 apps, and I have not yet, as we say in Africa, I have not yet blown yet. So you can go for their trainings, register with them, be faithful. When they see the consistency of how you go through their capacity development, and they see the growth, and you also engage in what we call networking, and also buying on the goodwill of human relationship, before you know what, you're going to land yourself a loan, and also land yourself an account with the African Development Bank. So, and it is believed that before 2028, that this fund is going to create at least 6 million jobs in Nigeria. So that's very big news. By the time these businesses are giving these monies, they are going to be profitable, and they are going to employ youth. So it is also a channel for employment of people. Generally, this is just one of the many funding and grant finances available for youths in Nigeria. Thank you very much for your time. This is the much I can be able to do on the perspective today. In the link of this video, like I said, I'm going to be putting my email address. If you know that you have a small, medium, or medium scale business and you want advice, because that's what we do in the perspective, that's what we do in Maple Research Institute. We are into business capacity development. We are into consulting. We tell people what to do. This is what you want to do. We tell you how to do it. We tell you, we refine your idea and make your idea a little bit more presentable. Bring in our own wealth of experience, and also our own network of partners, in order to be able to help you. So give me and send me an email, and we can see how we'll be able to take it up from there. But lastly, I'm also going to drop for you as a bonanza. I'm going to be putting in the link a list of different websites and companies that are or financial development institutions that are into funding and the giving of grants for small and medium scale businesses in Africa. Thank you very much for being on the perspective. This is the much we can be able to do this week, and see you next week. Like I said, we are dedicating 4 weeks to the issue of grants, and the issue of access to loans and financing for small and medium scale businesses. Thank you very much, and have a blessed day. Bye.